My first experience on the first day of the unit was bang on the Indo-Pakistan border. I think phenomenal paths are enjoyed by the district collector. And I guess in a district, he should be considered as a father of a district. Failure plays a very important role. And till the time you don't fail, I think you don't learn. I think taking pressure from your top and not letting it go to your junior speaks about how you show your leadership in different aspects. I think the synonym of Indian administrative services is human resource. No one is expecting you to do something very extraordinary, but yes, people are expecting you to implement government policy where people readily accept it. Studying for 6 months or a year, people on average study for about 2 to 3 years before they migrate to the civil services. So I think consistency is more important. I think learning and relearning are a very important aspect. I guess I'm persistent in whatever I have done.
I am your host Gaurav Garg and we welcome all our viewers to our show Amazing Mentor. Today we have a distinct pleasure of hosting a true trailblazer, someone whose journey embodies the spirit of service, leadership and positive change. Joining us is a remarkable individual with the background that seamlessly weaves through Indian Army, United Nations Peacekeeping Mission and esteemed Indian Administrative Services. Please welcome Lt Col Amol, a veteran with a passion for effective administration and policy development, committed to delivering results and driving positive change. Let's welcome Lt Col Amol. Thanks for giving us your precious time, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thanks a lot to get me onto your show.
My pleasure, sir. So let's begin with your childhood. What inspired you to pursue a career that spanned both the military and civil services? And were there any early experience that shaped your path?
As far as army career is concerned, I am the first officer of my family. Hardly anyone from my family have been into the armed forces. Yes, my father worked as Chief Security Officer of Maharashtra State Road Transport Corporation. So always we used to have a watchman in uniform outside our house. So I guess that was the person who always motivated me, because my mom used to say that if you do anything wrong or if you misbehave, I'll be handed over to the watchman. And the watchman was the person who used to wear polished shoes, a uniform, a belt, a cap and a stick in his hand. So I guess that was the first impression. I thought that this person is something very great and one day I'd like to become something of that sort. As and when I grew up, I realized that there are examinations like the National Defence Academy, then the Combined Defence Services, and that is how I came to know about becoming an officer. Prior to that, I was also in the National Cadet Corps, and I was privileged to be All India Best Cadet in 1999. I attended Youth Exchange Program to Bangladesh, and I also attended the Republican Day Camp in Delhi. That is how the journey towards the armed forces started. And I think these small incidences, small experiences of your life motivate you to wear the uniform.
So growing up, did you have any mentor or role model apart from that person who was standing in front of your house?
I guess parents are the best mentor. A mother with her love, with her dedication, and father with his experience, his strictness, or maybe his experiences of life. Whatever career at a latter part in life you may maneuver, I think your parents, maybe elders in your family, your teachers, but I think 80% it's going to be the parents who always gave me the option to do whatever I do, but they expected me to do whatever I do in a better way.
So childhood often involves overcoming challenges. Can you share a personal instance from your early years that taught you resilience and determination?
I grew up playing cricket. When I was in my school, we had great players like Sachin Tendulkar and Vinod Kambli, and every child of my age used to dream that one day they will become Sachin Tendulkar. So I played a lot of cricket. Invariably, I played till like district level and in school and college matches. But subsequently, studies took over when I was in 10th class. Then after that, I started preparing for National Defence Academy. But maybe getting to sports very early in life gave me a lot of physical efficiency to work hard. It taught me what patience was all about. It taught me slow and deliberate efforts will yield long-term results. So I think playing cricket and being exposed to sports early in the life did play a very important role.
So growing up, children often have unique dreams and ambition that I will be this when I grow up. So can you recall any particular childhood dream that you had and how, if at all, did it influence your path to adulthood?
When I was too small, maybe till about 8-9 years of age, as I told you, I wanted to become a cricketer. Subsequently, when I started understanding as to what are the different dynamics as far as career is concerned, Then I had decided, or maybe I had ambition to become an army officer. And I had decided much more, like sixth or seventh class itself, that if I have to become something in life, I will love to become an army officer. And I was fortunate enough that I got into the army in my first attempt, and that is how I had an opportunity to wear the uniform and serve the country.
So, transitioning from school to college is a significant step. Can you share some memorable moments or experience from your college days that you believe contributed to your personal growth?
I guess here comparison is more important. Like, I was studying in Pune, and I was studying in a very good school, and it was something like convent school where people used to talk in English and conduct them in a very sober way. I was a mediocre in studies by then. But then my father got transferred to Nasik. So Nasik is a bit second tier city, and I went to a mediocre school where people used to talk in Hindi, people used to be from farming community, very, very hardworking and very intelligent people, but they never had the touch of staying in a metro city. And I guess that comparison made me a topper in the class. A mediocre in Pune all of a sudden becomes a topper when it goes to a second tier city. And that sense of being topper in a class, I made an endeavor to continue with it. And that is how I appeared for the examination. That is how I appeared for the different things in life. And I think a change from a city did make a lot of difference. And I think that is one of the strongest memories I have got.
So many people form lifelong friendship in college. So can you tell us about your friendship or a group of friends from your college days that has remained a significant part of your life still?
Yes, definitely. You know, the beauty of belonging to parents who work with government is something very unique. You get transferred by every 2 to 3 years. After that, fortunately, I have been in army where again I got transferred in 2 to 3 years. So I must have seen almost 20-25 places in my whole life. And I guess each place has got a unique set of friends. Like my school friends are still in contact. I went on leave recently, so I had a very nice interaction with them. Some friends who used to stay in my society, a very close friend of mine stays in US now. And maybe in college days, I didn't classically go much to college because I was already into preparing for the examinations. But yes, I have got NCC friends who were with me during the Republican Day camp. I guess all those people do play a very important role, and most important thing, the friends you make in army when you are getting trained at the Indian Military Academy, they are actually your course mates and they make lifetime bonds with you. So I guess multiple friends, multiple locations, that's great.
So any funny moment from your training experience?
When we were doing our commandos, every infantry officer has to do commandos. And I remember our training used to start at 2 o'clock in the night, and it used to continue, and maybe at the peak of our training we had only about an hour to sleep, and one has to decide that he wants to go and take bath and go through the normal activity and get ready for the training of the next day, or maybe he want to sleep for an hour. So I remember at the peak of our commando course, all our batchmates were so sleepy, so we got into habit of just holding each other's hands and walking in jungles and walking in riverbed or walking on roads, and we were all asleep. So the first person who was ahead of us had the important work of doing navigation so that everyone behind him does not get lost. And that is something we remember. I guess that is something when you sweat together, you bleed together, when you're not comfortable together, they makes actually very strong bonding. I guess these are the incident this very strong incidents of sleeping while you're walking, I think is one of the experiences.
So stepping into your early years of your professional life, particularly in Indian Army, what were some of the initial challenges you faced and how did you overcome those challenges?
I don't think I will call them as challenges as such, but I will call them as experiences as such. Coming from totally a civilian family and getting exposed to military life is a new thing. And learning the military etiquettes, being very, the best form of your physical fitness, because once you go to Indian Military Academy, you may have gone from any background. There are tests which one has to pass. There are 20-kilometer runs, there are 5-kilometer runs, then everything is timed. And if you don't pass those tests, you don't pass out. So physical barriers, I think that is a barrier for everyone because the training is not easy. Every person who goes to academy goes through that barrier. You are at a very comfortable stage when you are at your home in the care of your parents. All of a sudden at the age of 19 or 20, you get exposed to what real life scenarios in military are. And I guess these are the few challenges. Physical training, initial level, and maybe lateral stage, I guess staying away from your family. I think these are some of the things.
So the military often demands adaptability. Can you share an experience from your early military career where you had to quickly adapt to a new situation and role?
Many, I can give you examples. Like I told you, adaptability is something like military gives you a very unique career. At the age of 21, 22, you are a platoon commander where you command almost 24 troops. And that's the only organization, I guess, where your troops can lay down your life just on your one word. I guess that's the only organization. There must be no organization in this country where you will find so much of passion, so much of regimentation, so much of nationalism. So adapting all of a sudden from a civilian background to a very responsible post was one of the major adaptation, I guess. And responsibility as officer, as what we call it, Afsarane Hind, that comes on your shoulder. You can't be conducting yourself in a way where it is unbecoming of an officer. So I think adapting from a civilian way to a military way of life is a very important factor.
So joining the Indian Army is a significant commitment. What inspired you to choose a career in the military, and how your initial experience shape your perception of service and duty?
I wanted always to join the army, as I said. So I always knew it that if I do something, I will join army. As far as my initial perception about the organizations I have joined, I guess I passed out in 2001 December, and there were the attacks which happened on the parliament in December 2001. So I was supposed to go to a peace posting somewhere in central India, and my unit, before I reached my peace location, had moved to the Rajasthan border and Operation Parakram, if you remember. So my first experience on the first day of the unit was bang on the Indo-Pakistan border. It gave me a unique opportunity to spend a lot of time with my troops. I belong to a battalion which is equipment heavy, like we have got small tanks called the BMPs. 1 year with troops, 1 year with your tanks, and you are so much confident about your equipment which you will be using in war, and you will be so confident about the men who will be commanding in war. I guess my perception about army and the closeness you have, close relationship you enjoy with your officers and troops, that is something which makes a very strong perception, I guess.
So were there any mentor or senior officer during your early stages of your military career who played a pivotal role in guiding you and providing valuable insights?
There were many, but I will not like to name them. But when you're in academy, one senior to you, they call it the gentleman cadet. They are detailed for grooming you, and they will teach you all minor things as to how to wear your clothes, how to tie your shoes, how to sit on a table and have your meals. They will teach you everything, and they will teach you in the perfect possible way. Once you go to the unit, the person who is your immediate senior must be about a year senior to you, who has joined your unit. He is the person who is generally your mentor. And again, till the time you are in unit, you may be 20 years of service, 21 years of service like me. You will always have someone on your head to guide you, to help you, to groom you. And I guess that is something very unique about the armed forces.
So transitioning from military role to Indian administrative service is a unique journey. Can you elaborate on the factors that influence your decision to transition, and how your military background provides beneficial in your administrative role?
In 2008 to 2011, I was posted in Kashmir, and I was posted in counterinsurgency. And for the first time, I saw the powers of what a district magistrate can do or a district collector can do. The administrative powers he has got for the development of the people, where he can implement government policies, where he can ensure law and order. I think phenomenal powers are enjoyed by the district collector. And I guess in a district, he should be considered as a father of a district, right? From the welfare projects till empowerment of children and women, education, health services, cleaning, sanitation, everything comes under the district magistrate. And I guess being in military, I thought if I retire and sometime in my life, if I get an opportunity to pursue a second career, I will definitely try for the Indian Administrative Services. And I had decided it for myself when I left army, that if I don't get Indian Administrative Services, I won't leave army. Because I had taken permission from the army to appear for the examination, and long back I had decided I may get any other service, I won't leave it, but yes, if I get Indian Administrative Services, I will leave it.
So in your administrative career, were there specific projects or initiatives that you found particularly challenging yet rewarding, providing a foundation of your subsequent role?
I am as of now in training, so I have not implemented any project. But as far as what responsibility has been given by my district collector to me, that includes projects which are like aspirational district, which actually looks at the district in a very holistic manner and try and find out people to whom the basic facilities, it may be education, it may be employment, it may be financial inclusion, it may be women empowerment, all these aspects which have not reached to the most rural and the tribal areas. Like as of now, I am posted in Dahod district of Gujarat. So Dahod district is a tribal district. So this is a project which empowers a bureaucrat to work on the aspect of taking the benefits provided by the government to the grassroots level and empower those poor tribals. And I guess as of now, I'm just going through that phase. And second thing is about smart city projects. Dahod again, incidentally, is a smart city where the government has already sanctioned, like every smart city project, they sanction about 1,000 crores, and that amount has come to do a holistic development of Dahod as a city. And there are multiple projects which are going on in Dahod on this. Like there's a huge pond which has been renovated, and there is a running plaza, cycling plaza which has been constructed around it. There are medical facilities which have come up. There are transportation facilities like a bus stand and a truck stand which has come up. So I think these two government projects, one is aspirational district project and the smart city project, I think these are the two projects which I got the experience to work upon.
Could you highlight some of the notable challenges you encountered during your 21 years in the army and how they compare to the challenges you face in the administrative role?
I don't define them as challenges, I define them as experiences. And I'll be very proud and very happy to tell you that all my experiences in army were always educative. They have taught me so many things. And being in operational area, as I told you, JNK, about 3 years, I was posted in a foreign country as a part of United Nations Peacekeeping Army. Wonderful experience for approximately about a year. I've been posted into Northeast, again experience of 2.5 to 3 years. And about 8 to 9 years I have been posted in Rajasthan and western part of India. So I guess I will not define them challenges, but I define them as experiences. They were wonderful. And as far as administrative services is concerned, I come with so much of experience. So as of now, I have not faced much of challenges in administrative services. Just about 1.5 year initial days. As and when I get some challenges, then we can discuss on them.
So what are the key difference between high pressure situation you experienced in military and complexities of government administration?
Comparing a military high pressure job is, I can say, you are in a military operation and a wrong decision or maybe a miscalculated decision by an officer can actually lead to loss of life to civilians also, to your own troops also. It may lead to collateral damage also, and worst cases it brings a bad name to your organization and to your country, which should not be accepted at any cost. In bureaucracy, as an IAS officer, still I have not implemented any project, but I guess it's going to be more deliberate. One has to think in a very bigger platform and a holistic way. It can't have a dictatorial form of leadership, what we followed in army by passing a military order and everyone following it. As an IAS officer, I think it is going to be more of inclusive and talking to people, convincing them, being in touch with them. And I guess that is how the challenges and that is how the different options will be functional. And that are the two differences I see between the army and the Indian administrative services.
So overcoming setbacks is crucial in any career. Can you share a moment in your professional journey where you encountered a setback or failure and how did you bounce back on it?
NDA may be a case, National Defence Academy. First 2 attempts I was not able to pass. Third attempt I passed, but by that time I had already completed my graduation. So that is something which gave me more determination to appear for the Combined Defence Services again. And fortunately, I cleared in my first attempt and I joined the army. So I guess failure plays a very important role. And till the time you don't fail, I think you don't learn. I have got my batchmates who are from army and who have appeared for the services selection board interview 6 times, 7 times. There are people I know 12 times they appeared for the interview, but unfortunately they were not able to make it. In my IAS batch, I have got my batchmates who have come to the Indian Administrative Services in 8th attempt, 7th attempt, and they are continuously giving attempts after attempts. I guess what we can learn from all this thing is one need to be patient, one need to have determination, and one need to have confidence upon one's capabilities. That slow and deliberate will always be in the race.
So leadership is tested in time of crisis. Can you recount a situation where you had to overcome tough decisions under pressure and how those decisions contribute to the resolution of the challenge at hand?
Many a places you will find tough decisions, like when we were operating in Rajasthan during the training period, and I had given responsibility to one of my youngsters, a young officer, to command an independent set of tanks. We call it a platoon. And very unfortunately, that platoon met with a accident, and one of the tanks actually fell into a ditch, and a couple of my troops were injured into it. And my commanding officer was very angry on me as to how come you being the senior most, how come you allowed that accident to happen. And I didn't turn down onto my junior and just got angry on him or told him as to how it, because it was a learning phase. Till the time he don't lose control over the situation under him, he will not learn. So I think taking pressure from your top and not letting it go to your junior speaks about how you show your leadership in different aspects. Otherwise, it's very easy for you that someone shouts at you from the top and you push on that shout to the person under you. I guess that is one of the examples.
So United Nations peacekeeping mission was a distinct aspect of military service. Can you share a specific experience from your UN mission that highlighted the importance of international collaboration and cooperation in promoting peace and stability?
In the United Nations, I was in Congo, and there was multiple operations we used to conduct to ensure the peace and security for the people in that specific area. In Congo, I spent maximum time on a small place called Changrero. That is a tri-junction of three countries, that is Rwanda, Congo and Uganda, and a fairly hectic place because there was a lot of human rights violations which used to happen over there. There was a lot of illegal transportation of weapons which used to happen over there. So we worked very jointly with the Congolese army, with the Congolese police. We also had United Nations observers from different countries like the French, the Swedish, coming to us and visiting us and discussing as to what are the different parameters. We used to conduct joint training with the South African Armed Forces. We had the air support given by the South African Air Force. So that is something which gives you exposure as to how different armies and different air force conduct their military operations. They teach you as to how they have their administrative echelons functioning for a long sustained operation, and that is something which gives you a very, very holistic view as to how internationally different countries from different regions of the world come together to ensure peace and security into a war-ridden country like Congo.
So human resources is a pivotal aspect of administration. How do you approach human resource management in your current role? And what strategies do you employ to maintain a harmonious work environment?
I think the synonym of Indian administrative services is human resource. No one is expecting you to do something very extraordinary, but yes, people are expecting you to implement government policy where people readily accept it. Subject to which the policies are to be implemented, people are happy to accept it. And there is where the role of human resource comes into. You have to take your team together, people who are working under you. You have to be responsible for the area where you are deputed to work, and implementing this policy with easy accessibility of all the aspects. It may be accessibility to water, it may be accessibility, as I told you, to medical services, to education. I guess taking the team together and working with a happy face to the people to whom you are working for, I think is the best form of human resource. And as far as training of that human resource is concerned, you have to keep your team motivated. You have to keep them motivated by having a healthy competition. You can keep them motivated by giving them a prize for performing in a better way, or giving a pat on their back socially in front of everyone when they do a specific task in a better way. So I think motivating your team and doing your work sincerely so that everyone is happy is something role of a human resource as an IAS will be.
So your journey reflects a wealth of experiences. What advice would you give to young individuals aspiring to join Indian Administrative Service or pursue a career that combines both military and civil services?
There are not many examples of army officers coming into the Indian Administrative Services. I guess after doing 21 years of service and then coming to the Indian Administrative Services, I'm the only example. I don't want to boast about it, but it's just a fact which needs reference over here. But yes, individually speaking, as far as army examinations are concerned, I have seen many people carry misconcept that you need to be very physically fit to join the armed forces, and so they don't venture into the field of appearing for the examinations. But I guess during the selection procedure, there is no any test conducted where it actually checks as to how physically fit you are. A small obstacle course people have to do, everyone does it. Yes, there is a medical test, one need to be medically fit so that they don't have any medical issue. Your actual physical fitness starts when you join the military academies. And I guess all those people who think that one need to be very physically fit is wrong. Military trainings like the military academies are established and work on such a way that a person who comes from a very humble physical background over a period of time with training becomes much more physically fit and pass out with passing all the tests. As far as Indian administrative services, as you said, I guess it is more a deliberate process. It's a long process. The examination is conducted over a duration of almost a year and more. Nowadays, the examination has become fairly competitive because there is a paper called CSAT where one has to appear for mathematical questions and also English comprehension. And there are other multiple aspects, but many people find it difficult, especially people who come from humanities background. They find the CSAT paper to be difficult. I think practice is something which can make them more precise as far as solving the paper in a fruitful way. And people who appear for civil services need to have a very long-term perspective of appearing and passing the examination. You should be mentally strong. You should stay motivated. One should stay focused and one should take care of his health, because it is not like studying for 6 months or a year. People on average study for about 2 to 3 years before they make grade to the civil services. So I think consistency is more important.
So as a mentor, what essential qualities do you believe are crucial for individual navigating the complexities of government administrative and public services?
Patience and hard work are two important things. You are not required to be intelligent to become a bureaucrat or an army officer. Rather, I think you can be a mediocre. Most of my batchmates come from very mediocre and humble academic backgrounds. But yes, they are very hardworking. They have been working over the preparation for the civil services for about years together, and they have been very patient. Many a times, as I already told you, people may fail in their initial examination, or people will not get the service of their choice. People may end up into services which are a bit lower in merit, Indian administrative services being the one of the highest one. So what they do, they patiently work hard over a period of time, give multiple attempts, and that is how they achieve the target of their life. So I think patience and dedicated hard work is something which I will mention over here.
So young professionals often seek guidance on leadership. What is your philosophy of effective leadership, especially in roles that involve coordinating interdepartmental efforts and fostering collaboration?
I think initiative, because the moment you specifically said interdepartmental, it is initiative. You have to go to different departments, you have to stay in touch, you have to convince people, you have to convey them as to what your point of view is. I think that is a very important thing, and that initiative should not be related only to a project or only to a certain duration of time. I'm talking about lifelong initiative. Second important thing is continuous learning and relearning. Continuous learning in the concept of exposing yourself to new things, and if you have already learned or if you have already made impression about certain things, you should not be strong about it. You should be able to break that and start relearning as to what wrong you may have learned. So I think learning and relearning are a very important aspect.
So given your diverse background, what advice would you offer to those facing transactions in their career, whether it's from the military to bureaucracy or between different administrative roles?
I guess think long, work hard, keep a simple life. Don't make it too complicated that if you don't make it for the civil services, that's the last thing you have got in your life. It is one of the options of your career. If you make it, perfectly okay. And lastly and most important, stay physically fit, because health is something, your body is something which you will stay inside for your whole life. Being an army officer, being an IAS officer, you will anyway retire at the age of 60. But you survive much more than that. So it should not happen that your studies or maybe your daily routine starts taking toll of your long-term health. I guess the combination of so many things, working hard, being focused, being positive and taking care of health is something which should be helpful.
So in a world that is rapidly changing, what advice do you have for young people aspiring to contribute meaningfully to sustainable development, good governance and national building?
I think we are in a very unique phase of India. Indian economy is the fourth largest economy, and we are almost $3.7 trillion now, and we are the country with largest population in the world. We are the fastest growing major economy in the world. So being a student or being an entrepreneur at this stage of development and this historic movement is unique in itself. So it is something like you put a hand into any job. If you are hardworking, if you have planned your moves, if you know as to what you have to do precisely, I guess you can get success. But there are some basic things which we need to work upon. That may be climate change, that may be saving of water, that may be reducing poverty, that may be being in consonant with the technological revolution, that may be avoiding unnecessary deaths, that may be road accidents or suicide, or maybe unnatural deaths. I think when we compare ourselves to a developed country, these are some of the factors which will always be taken into consideration. So I think every person who wants to do something good for the country, they have to endeavor into these fields.
So balancing work and personal life is a challenge any professional face. What advice you can share regarding maintaining a healthy work-life balance, particularly in demanding role like Indian Administrative Service?
My wife, by the way, is an army officer, and she is also Lieutenant Colonel from the Army Medical Corps. And we hardly got time together wherever we have been posting away. And as of now, I am in training for last about 1.5 years. So the only time we get to spend together is to when I go on leave, or when she and my kids join me to any location I am at. I think there is the requirement of maturity on both the partners, your wife and you too. In fact, your children automatically get groomed the way you conduct yourself. So I remember my daughter that when I was studying for the civil services, she used to just come and open the door and just peep inside and see that her dad is studying, and then used to give a smile, and just she used to just vanish, and then she was nowhere to be seen for the next couple of hours. And while you are studying, that is more than a motivation for you. Because I guess me passing the examination is a combination of everyone in the family. That includes my brother, my mother, my wife, my kids. Everyone is being a part of that team. Even I'll say Indian Army is a part of that team, because they also invariably supported me in whatever aspect I wanted to study. I think that is how the family plays a very important role.
So if you could go back and give one piece of advice to your younger self at the beginning of your career, what would that be?
For me, Gaurav, it's a dream journey. My first professional love was Army. I am already Army veteran. I have served with a pensionable service for 21 years of age. And I landed up into the best job in the country after I retired, being Indian Administrative Services. So I think there is no advice I can give. Advice can be given to a person who has gone through the downs as far as career is concerned. But yes, I will again retaliate over here by saying that I have been a very mediocre student. But yes, I have been very hardworking. I was generally focused. And every person who wants to get into the profession which I am into need to be hardworking. You need to be patient. And that is something I see the complete issue.
So can you share any specific study techniques or habits that help you excel the Indian Administrative Service examination?
Very specifically, if you ask, there are two types of studies you do. One is static subjects, which you do from your books, and which books are available readily in the market. A second thing is you study current affairs. And what I have realized in last about 3 to 4 years, and I have gone through the question papers multiple times, right from the prelims and also the mains. I have realized one thing, that every question, almost every second question which is asked in the civil services is somewhere related to current affairs. If someone is asking you a question about monetary policy of the Reserve Bank of India, you will find that something has happened, either in last about 6 months, 8 months, somewhere the rates have changed, or maybe the inflation has gone high, or maybe just because the inflation has gone high, the monetary policy committee had to interfere and get down the rates so that the inflation stays under control. So you will always find, if a question has been asked about RBI's monetary policy, you can find a correlevance to it as far as the current affairs is concerned. So I guess having a very balanced study as far as your static subject and your current affairs is something which will play a very important role.
So now we will start a rapid round.
Yeah.
So morning person or night owl?
I'm a morning person. I get up very early.
Coffee or tea?
Milk.
Mountains or beaches?
Beaches.
Favorite travel destination?
Meghalaya. Even Kashmir.
Role model?
Sam Manekshaw.
Favorite aspect of military service?
Oh, leadership.
Proud moment in your career?
When my son was born.
Innovation or tradition?
Innovation.
Strength or resilience?
Resilience.
Best piece of advice received?
Best piece of advice was received, I guess, when I was in Kashmir, and we had a farmer who used to be just cultivating his farms close to my post in Kashmir, and he had just recently opened a mushroom farm, and some miscreants in the night set the mushroom farm on fire, and he lost the crop worth about 1 lakh rupees. And next day in the morning when I met him, he was smiling, And I must be young, 27, 20, 26 years of age, and he must be about 75 years of age, completely long beard and Kashmiri Muslim. A very beautiful smile. He's smiling all over, and asking that you lost about 2 lakh rupees in the fire which was set to your place yesterday. Are you not feeling bad about it? And then he told me that बेटा जिंदगी बहुत लंबी है ना, आप बहुत खोओगे बहुत पाओगे, तो ये छोटी चीज है, जल गया वापस लगा लेंगे 2 साल बाद, है ना। पहले भी बहुत बार लगाया है, कभी कोई नुकसान हो जाता है, कभी मेरे एप्पल के ऑर्चर्ड है, कभी कोई डिजीज आ जाता है, नुकसान हो जाता है। आई थिंक दैट इज समथिंग, ऑलवेज सी लाइफ in a longer perspective. Don't take your failures, don't take wherever you have gone wrong as incidents which will stop your development. जिंदगी हमेशा लंबे पहलू से देखने का मुझे लगता है मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग है.
So at last, one line that defines you.
I guess I'm persistent in whatever I have done.
So thank you very much for sharing your insight and experience with us today. It's been an honor to have you on Believe in Future Amazing Mentor. Wishing you continued success in your endeavors for sustainable development, good governance, and national building. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thanks for getting me onto your show, and thanks a lot. And wish great to your viewers, and hope all of them do good professionally and personally.
Thank you very much, sir.